there's a females in charge of the youth population, the statistics for abuse skyrocket. Same thing inside of public schools.
Are you saying that women are more likely to be
women are more likely? No, women are more likely than men when it comes to the weaker sex. In this case, children. We would just say children are both sexes, right? But they're the weaker human than women. When they're in charge of children, they actually abuse them far more than what men abuse women at. And so it's like, so who's really the dangerous ones here?
I mean, your 60 seconds begins. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, I would like to say that is a claim that is a reasonable conclusion that you are drawing from the data that you are presenting. Unfortunately, that is not true, though, that the vast majority of sex offenders are male, and especially when, there are still female offenders, and that is still bad. But the point is that there is significant male dominance, and that most sex offenders are male, and females do commit sex crimes, but they're often underrepresented as perpetrators. So you're correct. But
hold on. Data you're reporting, is it?
Do you want to continue?
Yes, please. And so
I'll give you your 60.
This is from the United States Commission Sentencing, which is just about sexual abuse offenders. And there's a whole pie chart here, about how many times they offend and who they offend and who they're under guidance for. And again, it is saying that the vast majority, up to 80% of the perpetrators are men.
Yeah,
But you can talk now.
So women, do you agree with me that I have to ask some questions here so I can figure some things out? I hope that you'll answer them. So do you agree with me that both men and women have the propensity to, in some way, essay the other partner, both of them?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that it's, no, yes, I agree. It is definitely possible for both sexes to do that.
The question becomes, if you switch criteria around, right, for what is considered sexual assault, let's just assume things like catcalling are put in the category.
That's harassment. But are you saying hypothetically?
But let's say it's categorized, not as harassment, but as a form of sexual abuse. Would you say that would greatly skew the numbers?
If that were how it was classified, yes. Do you have evidence that is how it is classified?
I do. In fact, there's a whole grouping of colleges in a study that I can show you where that was smuggled in as a form of sexual assault or SA or sexual battery in some cases, right? They smuggle in, and so what they do is they decide that they want to make that data set wider. And so they just reclassify things which would not ordinarily be classified as sexual assault or sexual battery by just inserting those things. Now, the same exact thing happens here. Do you think that it's very masculine, for instance, inside of society, for men to go and report when a woman gives them unwanted touching?
No. And matter of fact, I do know male victims with female perpetrators.
And they have unwanted touching?
Yes.
So they're just far more likely to report it because of the social stigma, which happens to them often from women who tell them things like, I don't consider you a real man like you did to me earlier?
Oh, I didn't really say that, but...
You did. Your exact words were, a real man would X.
Oh, yeah, like real men like my dad who have the same political beliefs but don't talk to women the way you do.
Yeah, whatever that means. But anyway, so a real man does X, right? Wouldn't you say that the social stigma around the fact that women can kind of get away with the same type of inappropriate touching without men reporting would greatly skew these numbers?
Yes, however, I think that women and men who are victims and are perpetrators as well, I think those are both underreported. I think across the board it's underreported, but more for male victims with female perpetrators.
Well, how many more for male victims?
I don't know.
But it could be drastic, right?
And I would hope not.
And if it is drastic, then it would skew your numbers on all of those percentages across the board.
Oh, absolutely it would. But the problem is we have no way of gathering that data. And with the data we do have, though, I see what you're saying about the stigma, but it is so vastly that women are victims and men are the perpetrators that I don't see that catching up in any percentage.
Why not? It depends on how underreported it is. In fact, a lot of these data sets draw from unreported incidences via estimates, don't they?
Unreported incidences via estimates.
Yes. So
I suppose, there's no way that they can actually gather that data. Yeah. So this would be the exact same thing, right? They're making a supposition based on an estimate. This would equally have to apply to men. But if the social stigma is there by your own admission that men are basically not reporting the instances of unwanted touching from women due to this social stigma, we don't actually know how bad that social stigma really is, do we? No, and I mean, that's also what feminists, that's a great point, and I agree with you, because feminists, that is it's also my 60 seconds, right?
Well, we're having a back and forth now, so.
Oh, okay. Well, can I have 60 seconds? Because I would just like to talk a little bit about stigma.
We can't get into a back and forth and then arbitrarily demand whole whole blocks.
Okay,
of
well,
time, right?
I'm just going to give some statistics because I think we're on the same page here. I think we've actually found common ground. So the stigma around SA and abuse is what allows these numbers to be underreported. And so I think that because that's what feminists want, is we want men to be comfortable coming forward as well, because we want safety and equality for the sexes. That is what the definition of the term is the belief in social, economic, and political equality of the
Well, let
sexes.
me refute these lies, because
Well, I think that some people don't believe that. who are feminists,
all
but-
national campaigns that I've seen hyper-focus on women and the abuse of women, already making the supposition that men are the monsters and the criminals who are doing the unwanted touching and the essaying. And because of that, because this is done at a national level, at a state level, at a local level, and the organizations and NGOs are all hyper-focusing on women, this stigma towards men is never addressed, because women are only looking at it through the prism of women.
You know, it's not just women who are working on these studies, right, and who are writing these articles.
It doesn't
it's also
matter.
men.
Don't you say men can be feminists?
Yeah.
Okay,
but-
so by your criteria, these men who have the same exact worldview as you, they're still hyper-focusing on feminism. And the idea always starts with the supposition that men are the more violent sex, that they are more often doing these types of SA, sexual assaults, things like this. And what do we end up with? We end up with very skewed numbers based on the criteria, right? Where within just a matter of minutes, we can determine that not only can most of this stuff be replicated, but we can also determine that just based on the viewed categorization of these things, they can't be true. These numbers can't be true.
Okay, now, so I don't understand where you're coming from with how it can't be true, how something can't be true, because again, if you're going off of something being underreported and the data not being there, you're saying, okay, well then this is true, which means this can't be true, which means this, and you're not even going from like actual data that
Do you want me
have.
to demonstrate it?
No, I'm okay. I'm talking for now, please.
Well, I'll
but-
demonstrate it real quick. So it would be like this.
No, I'm actually okay.
Are there?
I feel like you've dominated the conversation for the last few minutes. If that's okay, if I would like to.
Well, I
take
thought
some
you just
data.
wanted me to demonstrate for you something.
No, I'm actually okay on that. Thank you.
You don't want me to? You asked me a
No.
question. You don't want me to answer it?
No. I was actually in the middle of talking.
Okay, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. No, like that was genuine. I wasn't trying to be.
I know. You're welcome.
Thanks. Yeah. So.
The patriarchy's benevolent.
Yes. So I think that the four principles that is a common misconception. And if you want to refute these, like I would love that. But working to increase equality economically and politically for women, which again, not rooted in female supremacy, but some people think it is. Expanding human choice, meaning male, female, everyone. Eliminating gender stratification, which means, globally it's